Welcome to Econometrics Melody. In this tutorial, we'll deal with the bar graphs. Bar graph is very useful and commonly used graph. So this is our data set we'll use to draw bar graphs. And let us see how does bar graph work. The first graph is about income over province. And the second one is about the income over district. So the x-axis represents the categorical variable. This is the bar graph of income over district and province. So the first row represents the label of district variable and the second row represents the label of province variable, and this is the bar graph of income over province and district. So the first row province and the second row district, the labels of these respective over variables, and hbar represents the horizontal bar graph, and the explanation is similar to the previous one. So the second one over district over province, so this is the district and province, and another one it's about over province over district, so over province over district. And we can also specify the statistics. We are going to draw the bar graph of 30th percentile of income over province, and this is the 30th percentile of income. Now we're going horizontal bar 90th percentile of income over district, and 90th percentile. Similarly, we can use another horizontal bar graph over province, and these are the mean and median of income. Now let us see what are the options that we can use for any bar graph. So these are the constituents of the bar graphs. First row represents the label of first over variable district, and the second row represents the label of second over variable province. X-axis here represents the categorical variable. We can manipulate this, or we can manipulate y-axis, look and feel of the bar graph with legend, axis options, and the title and other options. See the first one option, this is the group option, and it includes further other options. We are going to deal this over options in detail, and it contains other sub options as well, and the rule for specifying the sub option is to include it under the respective options. So let us see the over options, and we have already dealt about it. So this represents the first over, label of first over variable, label of second over variable, so and so on. We have dealt about it in our earlier part. So this must be first over variable education, second over variable is province. Now let us manipulate over sub options. Now let us manipulate the first over sub option. It's a relabel. So the province, the label of the province, we are going to relabel the label of province. It's east, west, and north, and we are going to replace the first label and second label is good and better, and which is clear by this graph. So here it's north, and first two, east and west, is replaced or relabeled by good and better. Let us relabel the second over variable. So high and school, we have replaced the first and third category. It's a high and school. Previously it was undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral. If we specify no label, it will. So we have specified no label for the second over variable, so we won't see any label for the second over variable. Now let us change the angle of the label. So here we have specified 40 degree and minus 60 degree for first and second over variable respectively, and this is clear by this angle of the label variables. And if we specify alternate, we'll see a very fine alternate appearance of the labels of the respective over variable. So they are in their alternate form, high, graduate, school, and so on. And if we specify this tick option, again a reminder, so these are the sub options of the over. So we specify these sub options within this over. So the ticks will appear here, and the gap is 5 times. So the gap between the tick and the first over variable is 5, and the tick also appears. Now let us used the label style, and we have used the label style as a heading. So the head, under the first over variable, so the first over variable label of the first over variable, its label will appear as if it is a heading. So these are the styles for heading. We can manipulate this as well. Now let us see, manipulate the label size. I have specified the label size to be huge, so this is huge, and these are the styles for the label size. We can choose from one of these, and in order to explore it on our own, we can always type graph query this format. Now let us manipulate the label color. So the label color for first over variable is green, and for the second variable is dark orange, which is evident. Let us manipulate the other style, and it's about tick, and we have used this option already. So a tick will appear in this X categorical variable. Let us manipulate other style, and it is the tick style. So these are the tick styles. So this is a tick style I've used as measure, and you can explore. These are the styles, and I have written a loop for this. We can see it on our own. This now, let us move to the other part, and it's about manipulating the length of the ticks. So this is the length of the tick, and we can again manipulate its position. So this is the crossing position, and here line style of the tick. So we can manipulate its color, patterns, and so on. So these are the line styles. And now let us manipulate the length, width of this tick style. So this is the tick width is of this line, it's a 3, and we can also manipulate the color. So these are the color styles. So I will specify yellow. So in order to specify the color, we can have specify it in 3 different formats. So this is RGB format. We can write the name as well, or in RGB format, otherwise in CMK format, CMYK format. So CMYK, otherwise we can specify it in HSP format. This time we will have to specify this letter HSP. Now let us manipulate this axis, this axis line. So I have written a loop for it, and let us see it after the execution of this loop. Axis off, axis f extended, and then no extend, no line, and line will appear for this. And let us see, when you specify axis line, we'll get a line, and if we specify no line, we won't see any line on x-axis. And if we say no extend, it will not extend beyond the extremes label. Then after, if it extend, it will extend from the extreme levels, and f extend. And if axis is off, we won't see any axis. So x-axis is off completely. And if we specify axis off and fill, we won't see any axis. X-axis is off, but the label for the first over variable, the place for it will appear. Now let us move forward, and the bar gap. This is about title gap, and I could not notice any significant change. Maybe we'll explain it sometime later. So outer gap is very clear. The outer gap 12, it specifies the gap between first over and second over variable. And if we specify the L style, overall style of the line of the axis, so I have specified the L style to be dot, so a small dot will appear instead of a line on this x-axis. And these are the styles. Line color, we have already dealt about the color style. So I have specified the line color to be line style dash, and its color is here. Again, let's move forward to other styles. So line width, we can manipulate its width pattern. So line width, I have specified it to be 1.5. This is the 1.5. And if we specify line pattern, so this line pattern, this is the pattern I have specified, and you can specify it on your on as well. So this line pattern is active or is in effect. And if we specify the gap, so this gap is the gap between bars within over categorical variable. And what is the gap that I will specify for the second over variable? So over variable 10, and for the second over variable it's 900. Second over variable is education, so the gap between this education high and graduate, it is 900. And sort, we can sort the bar according to our convenience or according to our choice. So we are going to sort this bar graph according to the income variable. So it will, by default, it will sort in the ascending order. So income variable is represented by this legend blue color. So this graph is sorted. Now let us see the other one. We have sorted it as per the export. So second variable is our export, and if you see this graph is sorted as per this export. And if it's not clear, let us see what is the sorting of export. What does the sorting of export look like? So this is the sorting of the export, and if we combine it together, the labels of the both over variable should match exactly. So this is north, east, west, northeast, west, undergraduate, and so on. This is clear. And we can also sort the bar graph according to some certain order, according to the order of the y variable. So we are going to sort it according to the second y variable. Second y variable is the 30th percentile of import, and this graph should be sorted according to the import, where is import 30th percentile of import represented by this red graph. So this red color, and it is clear the graph is sorted according to this value. And we can as well sort the bars according to the sorting statistics of a variable. P40th of income, the y variable is 10th percentile of income and 15th percentile of export, but we have sorted it according to the 40th percentile of income. So this at the initial stage, the graph may not seem to be a sorted graph, but if we look at our base is the 40th percentile of income, then everything will be at place. So this graph is sorted by this variable, this statistics P40 of income, and if we combine this, the previous one and this graph, they are working with the clear. So the label of the both over variables should match exactly, and this is clear by this graph as well. So after sorting, let us move to the sorting descending order. If we specify descending, we will see that the graph are sorted in descending order of the first variable. We have specified P10th of income. So this is the P10th of income. Here it's clear by the legend, P10th of the income, blue color. And if we specify reverse, this is just the reverse. The axis will be just in a reverse form, and which will be clear if we combine both graphs together. Sort descending versus sort reverse, and their axis, the order of the axis, each reversed. If it is from minimum to maximum, this order is from maximum to minimum. Now after this, let us move to the option called no fill, and if we plot this over province and over district, so the province is repeated for a single district, which is but if we specify no fill, then we'll get a clear picture of the province that consists the particular district. So east province consists these 3 districts, west province consists 4 districts, and so on. And if we specify the option called missing, so let's create a comparative basis graph for comparison, and if we specify missing, we'll get a bar for missing observations as well. So this one, the fourth one, this bar is for the missing observations. And if we specify all categories, so we have the first graph, it does not include the third category in province, it does not include the north. So here it does not include the north, but in fact we have a data for north. And if we specify all categories, the space for this category is also mentioned over here, that is also depicted. Now let us manipulate the y-bar. Y-bar is related to this y-axis. So what are here, this is a basis graph for comparison, and we have specified 3 y variables, and if we specify S category, these 3 y variables will be treated as a categories of a single variable, which is evident by the color. Now if we specify the option called y-bars, so this is a basis graph province. So according to the category of province, we have drawn this bar graph. Now if we specify is y-bars, then these categories of province are treated as different y variables. This is again useful. Now if we specify percentage, so this is the basis graph for comparison, and if we specify percentage, let us say the y-bar, these denominations will be expressed in terms of percentage. So this is the percentage, and B label total here gives the total percentage. So the sum of the y-bar should add up to 100% for each category. The sum of 2 different y-bars add up to 100%. And if we specify the option called stack, both y variables will stack. So that's very simple. And if we specify case wise, so this will include or exclude. The difference is exclusion of missing observations. And if we compare this figure, the label figure, we will see the difference. So there is difference in this total. For the East, it is 4995 mean of expenditure or export. Here it is 4990. So this difference is due to exclusion of the missing variables. Now let us change the look and feel of the bars. So we make use of these options. These are the options. So let us draw this graph over province and B label total. So this is over province, B label total. And if we specify this outer gap, so what does the outer gap do? This will increase the gap between the first bar and the last bar. So bar gap, we have already dealt about this bar gap. So bar gap is -30. So the gap between these 2 y variables, they seem to overlap as we go on increasing the minus value. So intensity, it will help us manipulate the intensity of the color. So if the intensity is 60% only, so over province, so this intensity, the color intensity is decreased, or it's a bit lighter. And we have increased the intensity. L intensity is for the line or outer border. We have increased the intensity of outer border. Here the value of intensity is just 0.3 and the L intensity is 2.5. So it is clear in this graph. The color, it is lighter, while the outer border, its color is more intense. We have increased the intensity. P style, P cycle, this is used for the P style, overall style. And we can change the color of the bar. We can first of all call the bar. So bar number 1 is represented by the income variable. So we are going to replace the income variable by the color of by yellow, and we can fill it. So yellow, now both the outline and fill is yellow. Now we are going to replace the fill color by pink, but the outer line is yellow. And fill intensity, we can again decrease the sharpness, so it is very light, because fill intensity is only 0.3. Similarly, we can manipulate the color line, color width and pattern of the outer line. So this is the pattern I have specified. Width is 1.5 and color is blue. Similarly, we can manipulate the overall line style. So the overall line style is P10 box. So we can specify the value from P1 box to P15 box. We can also manipulate the overall area style of the bar. So the area style, again, it begins from P1 area to P15 area. So I have used P12 area. This is the overall style of the area. Now let us Another option that we have is about the region option. We can manipulate this region. So if we specify no label, this is the basis graph for comparison. And if we specify no label, so these are the labels created for the variables. So if we specify no label, we get the name of the variable in case of labels. So these are the name of the variables: income and export. If we specify no label, and again, let us create a basis graph for there. And if we specify no label and b label is name, then the label of the bar will be replaced by the name of the variable, not the label of the variables. Now b label bar, so the label of the bar, the height of the bar, so the label of the bar will be the height of the bar. If we specify total, b label total, so this will be the total value. The label appearing will have the total value of the bar is represented by the bar. And if we specify group, we will get the group name for the b label. So this is the group east, west, north, and so on. And if we can manipulate the position of the label bar is center, so the label, it will come to the center this of the bar. And we can again manipulate its orientation as well as background color by the help of this box. From here, b label, orientation, vertical, size, color, box, and these are the background of box, color, and so on. Now let us manipulate the region option again, and it is the control. So here the region, it's mean of income and mean of expenditure or export. Now we can change this region also. So we want to replace it by good and fine. So this is what we get, good and fine. Similarly, if we specify the ring to be 0, this legend will appear inside the plot region, and inside the plot region. And if we specify the position 1, this will take our legend at the 1 o'clock position. This is 1 o'clock position place. And if we specify it as a column, then the legend will appear in the column form. And if we specify stack, the color and the label will be stacked. We're getting a fine look. Similarly, let us manipulate the axis options. Let us alternate y and x. So we are using the alternate y and x axis. And if we exclude 0, and actually I could not find what does it do. Maybe for the next time. In let us see what does this y reverse, y alternate, y, this is alternate axis, but they so the 0 is at the top position. Now again, y reverse, y alternate, x alternate. Y alternate, it is a hbar, horizontal bar, so it works in a similar fashion. Now let us manipulate its scaling. From the scale, the range of the scale is y scale is from -10,000 to 50,000. So y scale appear here. This is the place for -30,000 all the way to 50,000. It's fine. And again -10,000 to 50,000, but in reverse. So this 0 begins at the top and or the denominator at the bottom. The next one is -10,000 to 50,000, but alternate. We are going to use the alternate axis, and then there are certain patterns for these lines as well, color and this manipulation, this styles. Let us now see the M labels. These are the minor ticks. We will have 5 minor ticks, and in between the major labels we are going to insert 2 appropriate values. So 5 minor ticks between the major values, -10,000, 5,000. We have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 appropriate values, and so on. And we're going to draw 2 Y lines, probably at so this is the title for this. This is the title for this. Now let us manipulate the another options, title and other options. These are the common options for every graph. So we are going to add text at y 30,000 and x 27, and we are going to write it as good. Now let us add 2 text, 2 more text. the position x 12,000, y 12,025, and y 20,060 with this style. So placement, box color yellow, this is the color, and field color is green, the background is green, and line color is red, and so on. Now just place two y lines at the 20,000, y 20,000 and 5,000 values, so will appear two lines with this mentioned styles and patterns. So at 25,000 and 20,000. Now let us change the aspect ratio. Aspect ratio of 1.5 means y is 1.5 times x and its placement is at northeast. Aspect ratio of 3 means y 3 times x and its placement is towards south. This is towards south, and y is 3 times that of x. Axis, and let us use other standard options. So we're going to manipulate graph region and plot region and their difference in color and line patterns. So graph region, it has the mint color, so which is iridescent. This is the graph region, and this is the plot region, has the background color or the field color of magenta. This is magenta. And we can also draw the graphs, bar graphs, using by options. So we are going to use by education. We are going to draw the bar of income and import over province. So this is clear by the graph. So over province, by education, undergraduate, graduate, and DR, doctorate. So these are the province over province. We have two variables, y variables, income and import. So this is all about bar graphs, and it's a time to thank you all for your time. Thank you very much. Econometrics method.